you know, one of the best big bass baits, especially in cooler water and deep water. So cold and deep is a football jig. It's just a great bait. It's a jig, number one, which catches big ones. But the other thing is, it's a football jig allows that bait to sit upright. So in the water, it's going to sit upright with the tails up, and it also stays extremely rockless, weedless, basically, to where you can fish it in a lot of junk, like all this riprap and all, and not get hung. Tremendous bait. I'm generally throwing, you know, like a 3/4 ounce if it's at, you know, 20 plus feet. But you can go down to, you know, the little finesse football jigs that Strike King has and go to a 3/8 ounce or a 1/2 ounce, and it just goes through the cover real well. I drag it on the bottom, you know, let it beat against the bottom like a crawfish down there, and then every now and then I'll pop it off the bottom. And a lot of times, you know, that change of pace where it's dragging and then you hop it, you know, get some keys in, they'll eat that. Or you'll just be dragging it along and they'll just pop it and eat it. Generally, it's on 15-pound fluorocarbon. I like using a Brazex. I like it because you're down in the stuff. You know, the actual jig head gets beat up in the rock. So this is what's in the rock right here. In fact, you can see a little scuff on the front edge of my jig where it's down there in the rocks, and your line's right in front of that. So having a really, you know, good abrasion resistant line like a Brazex from Seagar helps. Plus it's got very little stretch, it sinks, and just gives you good hook sets. And I just kind of drag it down, you know, down the ledges and drops, and of course, don't forget the little key to popping it here and there. And the warmer the water, you know, a little bit more action. The colder the water, a little bit less, you know, a little bit slower. But man, it's a great bait. Color-wise, you know, peanut butter and jelly is a great color all around. That's kind of a green pumpkin. Green pumpkin's good. This one's blue crawl. There's just tons of different colors. I just try to make them natural colors. You know, not too often am I using something wild or crazy. It's just kind of the green pumpkins and the tans and the browns and that type of deal. Smallmouth love them, largemouth. It's a great all-around bait just for catching bass. When I'm fishing a football jig, you know, it's something where you're going to get that bite. You know, that bite, so he's going to thump it, and then you've got to set the hook. So generally, I throw it on a long rod. I'll either throw it on, this is a 747 EXO, so a 7-foot 4-inch 7 power. You can throw it on a 7.6. I love parabolic bend rods. What happens with parabolic bend is it's going to bend all the way through the rod, and that means when you set a hook, it's a good solid even hook set. It doesn't like the you know, a regular rod that has a fast tapered action. The tip will bend, and then you'll hit him with the butt section, and that a lot of times will rip a hole in the fish, so in the mouth. So by having a parabolic bend rod, it allows it to pull into them, keep them hooked up, hooks them really good, and that also means I can use a heavier action on lighter lines. So on 15-pound fluorocarbon, I could actually use a parabolic bend like flip stick. Like the Greg Hackney rod, the Klein has a parabolic bend. You know, I have a Shaw Grigsby rod that's got a parabolic bend. So parabolic bends are really unique actions for rods. This one, 747, is perfect. EXO, real light, sensitive, and that's been my number one for a couple years now. Yep. You can go throw a long distance, get it down there, let it sink to the bottom, and then just, you know, let it drag along a bit. And if you're not getting one, definitely stroke it, which is a big technique here on Kentucky Lake, is just stroking a jig, where you just rip it off the bottom, let it fall back down, and usually when it's going back down, they just thump it.